What's up, everyone? You know what it is. It's about that time for what? Talk that shit. Talk that barber shit. I just want to say thank you to everyone that's been tuning in, showing love, sharing the word. You know what it is. It really hits me right here. It really hits me. Makes me feel so warm inside. But you know what it is. I'm gonna let IG do what it do. Start sending out notifications. You know, you can do the same. Got some people that's want to join the industry as far as barbering, hairstyling, makeup artists, everything, how it is to be in this industry and really capitalize on working at a shop or not working at a shop, working on your own. This is what the platform is about. We share information. So that's what I love, and that's what I want to continue to keep doing within my field. So you know what it is? I'm going to let IG keep sending out, keep sending out, keep sending out. But I have a special guest today. I've been chopping up with this young man for a while about the industry. We've been connecting, doing our thing. I've been seeing his amazing work. He's been giving me feedback about my amazing work. And this is what I love, and this is why I keep continuing to do what I'm doing within this industry. I just want to share knowledge. I want to give back to people that have been given to me over the time that I've been in this industry, and it really means a lot. So for me to not do the same and hoard all this information and not be able to deliver it back to those that, like myself, when I was one time in that particular moment, I was just, I didn't know what was going on. And people just took me under their wing. For me not to do that, well, you know what it is. So, Hair Bar Renee Cortez is about to jump on. He's a hairstylist in the industry. I know we always say talk about barbershop, but I share my platform with everyone that's in this industry because we all connect. So let's get it going. My notification to let you join, and whenever you're ready, let's do it. We got Mickey in the background.
Wow. Let me see if I can switch it. That is hilarious. I love that. It's fun. Funny enough, that Mickey Mouse was the Mickey Mouse. I'm a big Mickey Mouse fan.
Yeah.
Being from LA, being an Angelino, Disneyland for me has been a beacon of hope and joy for me. And honestly, that's where my fascination for what I do today started. And my parents gave me that big Mickey Mouse when I graduated high school in 1997. So that's from 97.
That's
I
crazy.
still have it.
Right? Just back there just chilling, like, yeah, let's do this. Let's talk that shit.
100%. Thank you for
Man,
having me.
I
I'm
just want to
excited to
say
be
this.
here.
This is a pleasure to have you on my platform. I know we've been trying to work it out for a while to get it going because you're a very, very busy man. You know, you're doing your thing all over, but to have you on my platform right now really means a lot, and I just want to say
Thank
thank you.
you. So joy to be here.
Man, let's get into it.
For sure.
Like I tell everybody, I know it say talk your barbership, but at the end of the day, it's for everyone that's in this industry. We work together, we capitalize with each other. You share information with me, I share information with you. Um, Everything about our industry of how it is a round circle to a value of so much connection, and we're not
100%.
separated at all. I know it seems like, okay, you on the hair side, you might be on the makeup side, you might be doing this, you might be doing that, but at the end of the day, I'm gonna need some advice from you. You might need some advice from me, and this is what my platform is about: sharing information. Like when I came in the industry, I was wet behind the ears. I really didn't know where I was going, but I knew I loved cutting hair. I knew I wanted to be a barber. Even when I was a kid, even though I transitioned to other things, it's funny how life will bring you back to something
Oh,
that you thought about. Yeah.
100%.
So
100%. My route was different. I was going down to social work. I was working at a nonprofit about 15 years ago, and I just was in a relationship with someone that was, going to graduate school, and they were very driven. So that really aha moment made me step back and really see my process, visualize
yeah,
my 10 years of a commitment to a career that may or may not bring me joy.
yeah,
and that pivoted with hair, especially in nonprofit as a social worker. They're not paid the most, they give the most, and I always had a love for hair in high school. I almost went to beauty school in high school at Culver Beauty College. They had like an off-campus program.
Okay.
And unfortunately, being first generation, I was my parents were a little bit more concerned who's going to take you, who's going to pick you up, and all that, and that makes total sense, especially in Venice in the 90s. It was like we didn't have the internet, we didn't have cell phones. It was more so of just like, winging it, spontaneity. It was so much more different, a lot of
Yeah.
trust. And
Yeah.
that to me was very important at that time to establish that.
Yeah. That's funny because I stay in Venice right now. Me and my wife gonna be relocating soon, but I have very much enjoyed the surroundings of Venice.
It's a magical place. There's a lot of history there.
It is. It is. It definitely is. Um, I know for you, like you said, you came from a different route and upbringing, and then life gave you that wake up call. But was it anyone in your family that were a hairstylist or did that with hair a lot that triggered something? Not at all.
I mean, I have an uncle. He doesn't cut as much hair now. My
Okay.
uncle Goyo in Jalisco. I was just in Jalisco a couple weeks ago. But in Mexico, people do a little bit of everything. It's the
Yeah.
one-stop shop. You're hustling. So, I mean, there was that little lightness to it. But no, I'm the first in my generation. I'm the first in my group to actually do that. My mom's she's a housekeeper, so she works as an independent contractor. So that could have been like a seed planted for me at that time to see how she navigated her business, and all the ups and downs. But in the beauty world, I'm the
Oh
first.
wow, that's crazy. I know for me, like my true passion for this came from just doing a lot of events that were free. Working, helping out at shelters and doing things like that. And it gave me that connection with people that really didn't have a lot, but that moment of you doing something out of the kindness of your heart in the conversation that you have with someone really shifts everything when you like on the mindset of that hustle grind mode, like I got to make that dollar and all that. But then when you in a setting that's so different from all that, and you be like, "Dang, I really can do this. I could fall in love with this." And then the perks of it is to get money, but my first love is the connection with people. Who was that person that gravitated to you in the hair industry that group like took you on your wing under their wing? It was like, hey, this is not, it can be the shiny part, but this is
Yes.
what it is right now, and you can still fall in love with it.
I would definitely say it's one of my hair mentors, Pavi. I've known Pavi since we were in high school, and he started freelancing because I was working in a salon. I eventually, in the 5 years of working in a salon environment, I made my way into West Hollywood. It was from like Beverly Hills to downtown, and then was in West Hollywood. But he took me under his wings because he's a combo artist, and I tried to dibble dabble into makeup, and that's when I realized this is not for me. And I didn't want to do everything just to like, do it for the money. And the money wasn't the greatest either. But
Yeah,
I knew at that moment that, and moving forward, anything that I did was because it came from a passion of me wanting to do it, not having to do it.
correct.
So he took me under his wings. He introduced me to a lot of, freelancing jobs. None of it was union. I did that for about a year and a half because I was assisting at a salon in West Hollywood. So luckily, the salon owner that I was assisting at that time was pretty flexible, super supportive. He also too was like a pivotal person and for me to be around because he took me under his wings in the salon. So it was cool to have support on both levels, freelancing and in the salon, because I come from the generation where you graduate, you go to beauty school, you go to a salon, you apprentice, you stay at the salon, you build your clients. And while working in the salon, I started to meet people that were working on set, that verbiage, the union, tossing words around. That to me was very alluring because I'm just like, what's the tea with this? And I've always been involved and I've always been very curious. I didn't come with the blue book. I didn't come with instructions. I've learned to figure it out. And that's pretty much been my drive, trying to figure things out because again, since I'm the first of my generation to be into this market of artists, it's you learn, you make mistakes, but nevertheless, you continue and you grow, and that to me is like a big aspiration in life to always grow, never stay complacent, never stay settled and comfortable because things are changing, especially with technology now.
Right, sure, definitely.
We have it at the
What
fingertips.
what is it that maybe at a particular point, and maybe not, maybe you go through it sometimes and then you know how to like snap yourself out of it and wake yourself up. What were like certain moments where you questioned yourself, like these if moments, like
Oh,
especially
I mean, my reaction to that is still current because not as much now.
yeah,
I'm constantly doing my healing work. When I wake up in the morning, I make it an effort to stretch, to say gratitude, to connect. I have, some Tibetan bowls. I have my incense. Like it's all about an environment, about being grateful for another day of life of 24 hours that I get to be in an environment where there's endless amounts of possibilities. It's more so of how I choose to move forward. And even if I fall down, get up, process it. It's not a regret. It's more so of an experience. And it's
yeah,
like pieces of the puzzle that come together. And, I call it the committee, my inner thoughts. They're always having their opinions. They're always having being, certain people might trigger me and then that thought might go into somewhere else. And now I have a point where I can step back and check in and being like, is this a reflection of me or is it more so of what someone's being projected onto me?
correct.
Um, my one savior though that I like to use, and a lot of people that have worked with me know a smell. I like to spray essential oils in any environment. I'm more aware of the energy exchange and energy vampires and all that stuff. So it's more so of like setting my boundaries and being like, no, I
Yeah,
got this. I'm in control. I'm at the helm now because in those 15 years, it was me trying to step into those doors and make people happy. And I'm very much a giver. I'm a Leo, I'm very passionate. So I'm going to walk with my heart in my sleeve right away. That's just who I am. I'm a very happy person. Some people will try to take advantage of that and learning to say no and speaking up for myself because at the end of the day, I am my own business. I do PR, I do HR, I do socials. It's a nonstop work that has its moments where I even have to disconnect. I'm not oversharing as much as I used to.
mhm,
I learned
yeah.
to step back and take care of me in that process because this cycle is very like up and down, and it's just it's a day by day situation.
I love that, man. You got so much passion, and I can hear it in your voice to speak about this industry. Um, what is it for yourself at a particular moment? Because somebody may be going through it now, and they're trying to find out their lane to keep pushing forward, and they might be having maybe life issues at the moment. Maybe they having school issues, or maybe they just having personal issues or friend issues. How do you keep that outside world and still stay focused to reach your goal? How was that for you when, maybe you had certain people saying, "Oh, I don't know about this. I don't, maybe you should go back to what you was doing before because it was more lucrative and you had a foundation base and all this other stuff like that." Like when you start changing that's something better for you, people take it as offense and they don't know how it makes them feel a certain way and they want to project it onto you. And you might be looking at it with a clear vision and clear mind, but for them it's like, oh, he gonna fail, or he how is he gonna grind up this wall and make it happen? What was that like for you?
I mean, it comes with change. Change is very uncomfortable. I mean, it's an ongoing situation, but I have learned to become more aware of who I allow into my space.
Yeah,
I give myself like a 5 minute rule. Within those 5 minutes, if the conversation isn't really, if it's going more negative, I'll try to like gear it, step away, maybe talk to them, ask them what's going on with them personally. Because at the end of the day, we're all going through it. And once you open up, I've learned that people are really projecting onto you what they're thinking about themselves. I mean, even talking to people today about rates, the union, all this stuff, it's very personal stuff that not everyone wants to talk about. And once you do talk about it, I feel like it opens up this can of worms of this stress and
hmm
relief that can be very liberating. And I like that connection because it's very intimate, it's very personal, and at the end of the day, you're not alone. There are moments where I think like, fuck, how am I going to do this? But I've made it on my life. I'm a very optimistic person, and people will say that you're very optimistic. And for me, it's like, why not? The evidence is in the actions. I wouldn't be here today had I not taken risks, had I not thought of possibilities, had I not learn to figure it out. Again, I didn't come with the blueprint. And that's my talk to people. It's like we don't come with blueprints. I mean, we are guided to do like certain things, say within the box. But after a while, it's like I don't want I call the 9 to 5 people normies. And then I call set people like, just artists. But it's different. I didn't want to conform. I didn't want to be in that safety of a box because I could have had opportunities where I could have had that safety net. But at the same time, I want to take risks. I figure this is my way of taking risks. I'm not a gambler. I don't like gambling, especially with money, but my time and energy, sure, I have control over that. And I will negate that with people and also wherever I can be. So I am very mindful. And sometimes I will have to excuse myself and just say, hey, you know what? I think it's probably best for us to stop the conversation or maybe change it or just ask them, is there something you'd like to talk to me about? What's going on with you? And sometimes people really just want to be heard,
Yeah.
especially in today's world. Again, the internet, it's so much information that's being shared. um it's
Good
a
and
love situation.
good and bad. But it does give you a clear view of what you can do and the possibilities. But it has its uh, unnecessary plugs of other things that you really don't need in your life. Um, for you, and maybe I know for someone that's definitely working in the industry and is not known to like plug every job detail that you work because you got to wait till everything is completely done before you can speak on it. Do you feel like social media is still present for you in your line of work? Does it still give you gratitude at the end of once everything's done that you can post and share all this stuff that you're doing? Does it make
Well,
you
but yeah, I'm very excited for it. If anything, I've learned to have patience and not oversharing because you have to sign an NDA. You can't really release certain information. So it is exciting once I can talk about what is done. And especially now with, TikTok, there's digital content, there's video, I'm a king of ripping videos on posts that I get tagged on, and it's just like, just repost it because it's content. At the end of the day, it's a digital book.
yeah.
Back when I was starting, people had a book, like a legit book and tear sheets, and people will look at that. Now you got your phone, and it's just like,
Right.
it's easy, it's convenient.
Yeah.
But if anything, I learned to approach and welcome social media in that aspect of making myself available and sharing what I've learned and what I've grown with, and being a hope, a beacon for people that are out there that are wanting to get into this industry. It's not glamorous. It's not
He got it.
really isn't any job security. It has a lot of ups and downs, emotional roller coasters. There's been times where I've just had to pull over and cry. Maybe I was in talks of getting a job that could have landed me somewhere. Things change, and you learn to work with it. You have to be adaptable, or I choose to be adaptable because if I stay in the negative side, it's going to get the best of me. And I don't always like being negative or sad. Or maybe I'll go for a hike, or maybe I'll do breath work, or maybe I'll walk my dog. I try to find a solution to bring me back into my reality of joy because I do much better when I'm happier. And I don't like being sad. It's up and downs
Yeah.
for the most part. But that's been my main focus, is making sure that what I do and how I'm using my time gives me joy and I get to share joy with others.
Let's talk about that because I definitely had a few guests that are in the industry and work in the union and things like that, and now they're definitely speaking a lot more about the industry of what's um, lucrative, capable of you once you're certified and you can get into that arena with all these greats. Um, what is it that people should really understand about trans transitioning into this field? Because it's not just like working at the shop. Like when you go to a salon and all that stuff, like the environment and the capability to keep growing in this field that's over here is totally different than working at a salon. And how was that shift for you? Like once you said, okay, this is, I've been doing work, I've been building my days. Now I could get into the union. Is it still gratifying to like know that you're here, but do you feel like yeah, I'm here, but I'm still working the same way like I was working at a
Oh,
shop? Yeah,
100%. I mean, yesterday I went to a screening of Fallout. They had the team there that worked on it,
Yeah.
and I arrived. We could sit in the front row. It was just a really validating moment to be in the rooms of my peers, to finally be in these buildings that I've seen throughout these years. Because I joined during the pandemic. I joined with the star request, and that was my golden ticket to get in.
Yeah.
Odd time because it's the pandemic, high stress for sure. Hard. I had PTSD that I finally have worked on letting go during that time because of the pandemic, the exposure, the constant testing. It definitely got in my head of not wanting to be around people during that time. But it was a blessing in disguise. That's how I was able to join. But I still freelance at the end of the day. Am a freelancer. I joke with some of my clients and saying I'm a hair hooker because they usually call me when they need a fluff.
Right.
And I'm always just like cash on the counter. What are we creating? What are we doing? Because it's fun. And I have a joy in being in all environments. I've had people be like, why don't you just focus on one thing? And it's not for me. Like, I do appreciate being in the salon, but I didn't want to be there weaving hair and like, having to charge someone something because at the end of the day, I'm paying the salon owner 40% per client. So that all adds up. And it's just like, if I'm just doing a color and a cut, is it really worth me being here for 30% or 40% that I got to pay them? So that factor also allows me to think like there's more opportunities out there. I mean, I've said yes to so many jobs working at the Four Seasons, doing bridal agencies, doing, work that got hit up at the last minute. That for me really has been my Rolodex of meeting people. I mean, I volunteer with Beauty Bus. That has been a way for me to meet other people that were department heads that have been working during this strike because there are people that do fall into the union world and it does keep you busy. But for me, coming from the freelancing world, that's my bread and butter. And I also have to keep that factor because when I work with like Rock Nation, they pay you in 90 days. So I don't see that money for 90 days. Or that money is going to come 90 days, I got to create that now.
Yeah.
And that all falls on me. And sure, it's high stress and pressure, but at the end of the day, it's the career I chose. It's the path I chose. And I take that accountability in motivating myself to keep my eye on the prize. Like I like to create vision boards. The vision boards really visually help me see where my path is aligned. If I get derailed, sure, okay, take a step back. Maybe there's something in that process that I have to really like, cross my T's, dot my I's to continue forward. And I'm grateful for that awareness today. I didn't have that awareness years ago. I was also sober for 10 years in that journey where I was not drinking, I wasn't smoking. I knew that I had to really give myself in. This was my marriage to myself and my career where I didn't know where it was going to take me, but I knew that I had a path. I knew there was a possibility for me because of the people that I've seen or the people that I've admired digitally online. And that has been a good opportunity to see other artists that are digitally available to you in a platform where you can now DM them, send them voice notes, interact with them, where before I didn't have that. So even when I go to the general meetings for the union, I will approach, whoever I've seen on TV and introduce myself because you never know. They might need someone that can bring you on. And at the end of the day, it's all about networking. I do hairstyling, I do like barbering, so it's just like I make myself available. Figured why not? Why, I'm not the master of anything other than just creating a vision. I like to collaborate. I'm an artist at the heart, and that is very gratifying because the artist world, there really isn't much job security, and you are pretty much giving yourself away to whatever project is there for you. But at the end, when you see the finished product, that to me has been very gratifying. I've been able to work with an array of companies where I see the finished project. Or even being yesterday at that Prime event and just seeing the panel and visualizing myself to be on that panel when I get to work on a movie or on a show, it's those moments that for me, it's like, I can see myself being up there and that keeps me going because again it's the ups and downs. There might be a week where I have two jobs and then by the luck of I get more work, and at the end of the day with social media, that's another platform that can create a revenue for you and everyone's on their phone. So I say that because TikTok is something that I haven't really dibble dabbled in. The platform for me, it reminds me of a hamster wheel,
Yeah.
and it keeps me spinning. But at the end of the day, that's a challenge that is a part of a change that I have to welcome and work through it. And it's baby steps. I can't sit here being like, no, I'm not going to be on there.
Right.
It's you either get on or you get off.
Yeah.
And if you don't get on it, you're going to sit there wondering. So I don't want to wonder anymore. I'm going to have to learn. I'm going to have to fall. I'm going to have to get up, and that's okay. It's just a different platform where I can be vulnerable, but it's all dependent on how I choose to expose myself in that way, which feels great. To be in control, to be at the helm, to be my own captain is very gratifying because for years, I can easily give that role to someone else. Now it's like, no, when people approach me, it's just like, what's your vision? What's your rate? Like, I know now how to ask the questions. It's just like, okay, we got 5 minutes here. What are we going to do? Cross my T's, dot my I's. Because at the end of the day, it's like I want to be able to understand what's going. Because maybe it's not for me. Maybe I can bring someone else in that can be the perfect fit or the right fit for you to create that vision. I'm all about sharing the wealth. There's enough work for everyone, especially in LA. There's been jobs where I'm working with someone I didn't know, and I take a moment back to like see the view or take it in, do a deep breath, and being like, wow, what an amazing gift to think that in the city of LA, this is the opportunity I get to grant myself. The city has so much opportunity. I love LA. I call it La La Land. It's a bunch of transplants that are here trying to change things, but at the end of the day, all the OGs are still here and we're representing. And I love that. I love to be that Angelino representative that can give a little bit of insight on certain details, certain history that's around there. I just love it. I love being around people. I love what I get to do, and that's very empowering. Most people I know don't have that ability. They go to work because they have to work. I
Right.
choose to be in a field of work that is gratifying, that can have its process, that can have its ups and downs. But at the end of the day, it's that connection. It's that synergy that exists that can create endless amounts of opportunities.
I, I appreciate everything that you just shared. And what I took most of it is like understanding your area of how you can extend yourself when you know more. And I feel like you took time to really understand every area of this business as far as how to educate yourself to really make sure that once these opportunities come, that you don't feel afraid to say, "Hey, I could step in on that."
Yes.
And the area of that, especially like coming from a salon and now being in this field, and maybe somebody I don't know, I haven't been in that area yet, but do they usually call out like, "Oh, I need somebody to do this real quick"? And how often do you see someone that you're working with that there's not a lot of people in that room that really can jump to that opportunity because they haven't extended themselves to understand, like, I need to educate myself and not just be a one trick pony. How did you understand, like, hey, I can do barbering, I can do makeup, I can do hair, I can do lashes and all this other stuff? When did that moment for you say, okay, I need to start getting to these rooms, these educational rooms, and make sure that I don't miss out on the opportunity when that moment comes?
I would say the last 10 years, just
Yeah.
learning to understand from being on set to being on location to being in the salon, everything's about time. Time is money, especially when you have your AD on you, like how much time do you need? Or like, someone's agent that's asking you. It's more so just learning to be adaptable at the end of the day because you do get a lot of pressure and being able to create a look or work accordingly for people to be ready to go. So I would just say be adaptable and welcome change because things may not go that how you see it. And sometimes it's good to step back and just reassess what's in front of you and know that you're capable of doing it because you know, I love what we do, especially with like the tools. I'm a curling iron person, and I know a lot of the younger kids like to use flat iron. So learning to be adaptable, get used to change, especially having to lug around all that extra weight on your backpack or your suka or whatever you use, and learning how to downsize. And I just love learning from people and seeing how they approach things, especially with these big changes in LA and having all these artists that are coming here and being available and just networking and I love it because it's the new generation that's coming in and giving them tools and tips and tricks, especially like in the freelancing world with editorials. A lot of those you don't get paid. A lot of artists don't want to do non-paid work, and that for me is where I have to remind them like it's a digital tear sheet that you can share. It's content. At the end of the day, it's content. You're creating content,
Hmm.
and if this is not the way you want to create content, then find another way to create content. But the end of the day, that's now how I see it. Content. It's creating content to generate on social media, just to have digitally because people are always, on the internet looking up for details, looking up for looks, looking up for opportunities. So I try to be adaptable. I try to wake up early in the morning in case I do get that text or that phone call where someone is running behind and is like, "Hey, can you come in and step in?" So it's just been a day by day situation.
Let me ask you this: in this industry, we're are always on demand. Like we always on the go. That I got to be there. I got to do this. I got to make sure that I'm available for these opportunities. Even like when you're at the shop, you want to be there early to make sure that everything's set up correctly. You want to be, have your lineup correct, and so for a lot of people that's coming in this industry now, we are hearing a lot more that if you want to build clientele, you want to build your business, you got to be there from this point of the day to almost the nightfall. But they don't talk about our health. They don't talk about our mindset. They don't talk about how you relieve all these things that you're going through because you just always active and you're always moving. When did that moment come for you when you realized that my self health, my mental and everything is very important to me? Because if I don't take care of myself, how can I deliver my perfect work and my perfect artistry into the world that I want to create for myself?
I would definitely say that would be 10 years ago when I chose to go sober.
Okay.
Um, that was my reality check because I knew that I couldn't be productive partying the night before and then showing up, half awake just to be there for a job that's professional. If anything, I chose to let go of all the distractions that were around me and work with myself because there was a lot of unhealed wounds that I needed to really sit with and approach and process and talk about. And I'm really grateful for those rooms because it allowed me to really create a livable, a sustainable life that was suited for me. And even having conversations with people about it, it's just good to find help because it's available to you. And in that journey, it really allowed me to see how things affected me, my mental health, my physical health. And that's why I say like I'm a happy person. I do better when I'm happy. When I'm sad and negative, that's when it's like, okay, no, I got to go for a run. I got to go for a hike. I got to do something to motivate me to get me back into that happy place because I do much better there. And it's, on a day by day basis, it's just a matter of making yourself available. And in the beginning, I did work 7 days straight. I didn't really have another life other than just I was saying yes to everything, even if it was low budget. For me, the outcome was the opportunity that I was able to walk into those doors. Sure, I was only getting like a low rate, but I'm meeting 5 new contacts that can give me opportunities to welcome me into a project. And it's all, word of mouth, who you know, because at the end of the day, that really has helped me. And people help you in return. And I'm all about helping people because it's about a community. I always say teamwork makes the dream work. It's not I, it's we. And I'm stronger with the team of we than I because I can easily get knocked over. But if I'm in a strong team of we can deliver and make that happen. And that's usually what I strive for. Um, I try to make a connection with people and just check in with them and seeing how they're doing because you never know what their story might tell you. And maybe they're going through a process that you can help them with. But at the end of the day, I always just remind them to just achieve to do great and make that good connection because you only have 24 hours. As I get older, I become more wiser on just my time. As I mentioned before, we all have our journeys, we all have our plans. Had I not been sober, I don't think I would have been here because prior to that, that Renee was much more different. Renee today, I still have my days, but I can sit here in my best authentic way and look at myself and say, I love myself, I adore myself, I respect myself. That's very empowering, especially growing up in the States, first generation, having to acclimate. My first language was English. I did ESL. Back then, you would get shunned if you spoke Spanish. Now it's like all over, which I feel excited for. It's just like, that old dead skin is, shedded, and this butterfly has flown that has been, limited by society. And today things are switching, which I'm so grateful for. I have my nephews. I have a 4-year old and a 2-year old. To see the hope that and opportunity that they're going to get that I now get to see is very gratifying. It's been that aha moment of turning point in my life. I feel as I get, turn 45, it just all begins to make sense where I don't necessarily have to be involved in everything. I can take a step back now and just let whatever is happening in front of me happen. I'll definitely chime in a little bit, but I don't necessarily need to be in the mix as much.
No, I used to have those. I definitely used to have those conversations with, my lady, and definitely with my mom. Like, I always been someone that felt like if I'm not moving, if I'm not grooving or like forcing the situation, it ain't gonna happen. And then once I got into a realization, like once, everything started to shift a little bit for me, and I realized like, no, sometimes being patient will let you see the overall and then help you understand how you need to move instead of always just trying to bulldoze your way into situations. So I definitely get what you're saying. And yeah, first off, I want to, trickle back and say congratulations on that.
Thank
I know
you.
that a big moment in your life to take that next step and see it through, and definitely with everything that life can throw at you can make you swing back and go, dang, I try to move forward, keep calling me back to keep that moment in your mind to say no. I want to keep moving forward with that. That's love, and I respect you for that.
Thank
Congratulations.
you. Thank
Yeah,
you. It's a work in progress, every week changes.
yeah,
That job that I mentioned that I was being spoken about, that was a 20-day job. That's a union job. That unfortunately, because I'm in network TV, I'm not in the roster. There's tiers in the union. And I didn't know
yeah.
that when I joined. So it's like, oh, now I got to relearn this system. But, I try to make it work. I just see it that if it's not for me, if this opportunity isn't for me now, the next opportunity that's coming is how it's going to be. And I just learned to let go, let God, and just let it be. Because if my committee takes over, we're going to be in a spinning wheel where all these, options are. And I don't want to do that. I did that, been there, done that. I don't like how it feel. So I choose to just be like, you know what? It's out of my control. What will be, will be.
Yeah.
And all I know that I'm here now. I'm in a great space. I'm very grateful. And everything's going to align. It's all worked out how it's supposed to work out.
Um, I think I was mentioning a little bit. I'm starting to see like like it's a group of people now are really wanting to share the information of being in that realm of world and being a celebrity hairstylist and working on films or working on commercials and stuff like that. But now they're sharing that life, but now they're speaking more about um, things that can help you prep yourself a lot better and understanding how to move in these rooms and how to be more of someone that you need to kind of like drop all that hair industry kind of mindset of being at the salon, because this being in these rooms are and what the room where you guys are doing all the styling and the trailers, being in that and understanding that these environments, these connections, these these movements that you're making is a lot different from that. So to really grow and understand that and really be someone that someone can say, oh yeah, I like working with Renee. Bring Renee on this project. Oh, we got a project coming up. Who should we call? And people in that room are going, oh well, what are we doing? This and that. Okay, I know someone. Let me reach out to Renee. Like how do you develop that educational part to be someone that people are willing to call upon you within these settings?
If anything, it usually starts off with the conversation of what's your mood board. I like to also challenge myself sometimes. So it's more so of that connection of the team that I'm working with. I'm very grateful that by saying yes to a lot of jobs, it's allowed people to really see me in different kinds of environments, which have allowed me to be adaptable. That's why I try to tell a lot of stylists that are coming in. It's like, don't just stay in this world. Stay creative because things are changing and you never know. You might be needed for another job or something else. If anything, it's more so of making myself available to learn and to grow. I mean, I still assist people to this day. I have my ego's out the door. I'm just like, it's the opportunity to learn from them and to shadow them because they have a wealth of knowledge that maybe I walk away learning one new thing, but that one new thing for me is an opportunity of growth that I didn't have the day before. So for me, I'm always constantly making an effort to learn. I stay curious. I stay passionate about what I do because at the end of the day, I don't know how things are going to turn out, especially with this strike and AI, and it's all gonna, we're a part of the change. So all I can do is share my information, be that beacon for someone to be like, hey, let me ask you some questions or like guide someone, learning how to mentor. It's been great and having people think of me. I always, say thank you for thinking of me for to be in this project because it's awesome. There's a lot of artists that they can pick, but they pick me, and that to me is like that golden ticket moment of just like, oh shit. Because I never really like to like talk about what I do with my family or anyone else because since they're not in the industry, they don't really get it until they see it on TV. And I say that because I worked on selling the OC and I started watching the new season.
Yeah.
And to see those clips, and I'm just like, fuck, this is like, I was patting myself on the shoulder of thinking like, who would have thought I would have been working on something like this? And that I actually got to work on that show because of my coworker who knew from the salon.
Mm.
And he came here from Kentucky and hustled. And he's a combo artist. And he finally became a department head and knew that I was in the union and was able to bring me on because that was his project. But it was that environment from the salon where he mentioned to me that he enjoyed my perspective, how I work. He enjoyed my being around him. So in these types of environments, that's who he wanted to bring. He wanted to be able to make sure that his talent is taken care of because at the end of the day, you are catering to your talent that get has to have this look, the embodying this persona that they're about to go on stage and deliver. And it comes with a responsibility, and it's just a matter of making it happen and being able to cheer them on. I love cheering people on. I was a cheerleader in high school, and I that to me gave me so much joy of just, I always say fanning your flame. I'm always fanning people's flame because that's just what I do. Why not? I see the potential in them, and I like to remind them of what I see because everyone has a perspective, but it's good to just remind people like you're a valuable asset, you are important, you are worthy of being where you're at. And if not, just practice. I practice on my doll heads. I choose to because that's how I can maneuver and being ambidextrous. When I had my car accident, I wasn't able to work on my left side. Luckily, I'm a right-handed person, but that made me think like, what if one day I can't work on my right? I'm not going to lose
Yeah.
work because I can't use
Yeah.
my left. So it's just being able to see those moments of being like, you know what, for whatever it's worth, at least I didn't break my leg. Yeah, I have a metal plate now, but it made me think like I got to use my left hand more. So now that I'm like brushing, curling, it's like you're learning something new. You're learning how to work with yourself and how to make yourself adaptable to whatever job may come.
Let me ask you this, and I want to bring it across the correct term and the correct way. So, you know, growing up, what gave me influence was seeing someone that looked like me. So, I did bit fashion, so I always looked at my peers that were looked like me, and not say all the time because it was other a necessity that had something that drew me to their work, and I loved that. But for me, when I looked at Fresh Prince or I looked at the Cosby Show or whatever, to see the designs and see the schooling and the cool little colorful sweaters and all that and stuff like that. So when I transitioned to hair, then I started looking, who's do this, who did that person hair and all that stuff like that, and then I started doing my research. How was that for you when you got into this hair industry? Who did you look for that kind of like remind you of you or gave you inspiration to say that person came from my area of childhood. He went kind of maybe through the same thing that I went through, or she, and I'm loving where she at now and what she building. Is there anyone like that in the industry for you that gave you that moment like, okay, if they can, I could be here too.
I would definitely say that the person that planted the seed for me was Pavi.
Okay.
He's been in the union for some time, but there's been other artists that I've met, like Natalie. We know Natalie. She's a combo artist. She does makeup and she does hair. And luckily, with social media, you have a digital book now where you can research. You can, and I love that because now I'm able to put faces to names of being like, who did this, who did that, and maybe I can DM them, or maybe I can reach out to them and talk to them about assisting them or working with them or fanning their flame and sharing the success that they have. I love this world that we're in with the digital platform because it allows for you to really have access to all that information, because before it was all very hush hush. It was more so of, you knew what you knew because you were around that environment. If you know, you know. If you don't, you don't. But because of social media, that has been my little ticket gateway that has really allowed me to do my own research and seeing people that are out there. I'm being seen. That's very important. I grew up with a lot of, we watched a lot of Spanish TV at home, so novelas were like my it factor. And so was, a lot of the American shows that we grew up watching. But being seen was that factor where there was always a representation, whether it was in the Spanish platform or in the English platform, especially with that synergy and growing up in LA in that time where you wanted to be able to fit in, you wanted to be able to connect with people, because I knew I was different from the minute I was in elementary school. And I knew that I had to be adaptable because, people were catching on to certain things that I didn't even know. And by becoming aware of that, it comes with a lot of pressure. It had its moments, but I'm in a much better space with it now. And I'm just grateful I didn't give into it, and I kept going and moving forward, and just knowing that we all have a purpose and we all have a moment to be seen. And I rather share that with others and celebrate others, because in return they get to celebrate me. And I'm very much a team person. That's more so, that's what gives me joy. Being able to bring people together that love what they do and are passionate and will think of you for upcoming projects, or you can probably recommend them for something else. It's like having a Rolodex of people, of quality people that can step in if you're not available to do a job. Because I've had jobs where they're like, "Oh, I wish you were available. I wish you had a double," and I'm like, this is the closest to me, but maybe they'll, open another door of opportunities for you that you didn't know was there. But they're all moments that I think are valid and valuable to have, especially in this industry of networking. It's all about networking. Your community will help you move forward through the ups and the downs.
I think one of my next questions, referring, still staying on this topic, was like, when you watch um, certain projects and certain films or certain series, when someone there's a reputation of you and your culture, but then you notice that it doesn't line up right because whoever's doing the makeup or whoever's doing the hairstyle is not capturing that full essence of like, this is what reminds, when I see this moment, it takes me back to the way I grew up, or it reminds me of my family members and stuff like that. So how is it for you to be in these rooms sometimes when you see something, you be like, nah, they missing it. This is like, let me grab that. Let me take hold of that. Let me work my magic because this is what it's supposed to look like. Do you ever have those moments where you have to fight with yourself? Like,
I have. There's one project that was supposed to launch, which was a big project. Unfortunately, the pandemic happened, so it got shut down. It was a Latina singer who unfortunately passed away. They were doing a movie on her, and we did the marketing campaign, and there were moments where I had to step back and see myself being like, I'm doing the hair for this person that's playing this person, and such a pivotal moment where it's like, pinch me, like this is reality. Like I finally made it into that platform. So that eventually I hope will come out soon. But there has been other projects where it's just like, it's not there, but let's deliver it here. I did have a lot of fun working on RuPaul's Drag Race. I never did I think I'd be able to work on there. I did the haircuts on the show, so I wasn't on the production per se, but they would bring me on the weekends to get the girls ready, and it was really cool to see that season 15 and season 16. Just because prior to that, I didn't really see it. I disconnected. I felt that the way they were portraying drag queens was just not relatable for me. It was very, I get TV reality, it's drama. It reminded me of high school, and I was just like, been there, done that, moving on. But to get to work on it and to get to come back to it and see it now, it's really gratifying because I grew up with a bunch of drag queens. A couple of my best friends were drag queens. Two of them are trans, and it's just nice to be seen because I've always been an advocate for anybody to be seen.
Yeah.
Even in elementary school and high school, kids that would, mess around with disabled kids. I'm like, why would you need to go through those extremities to, hinder someone else? It's just like, are you really that broken that you need to like break someone else down? And I never liked that. If anything, I've learned to speak up more and just say, step back. That doesn't have to happen. But it's cool to be a part of these projects that may or may not deliver. But at the end of the day, I feel like there are opportunities out there where you will be able to deliver. And like that one project that I was talking about, that to me is like a nice aha moment to celebrate. Once they put it on the billboard, I'll be happy to see it because I've had my work in a billboard before. And I still manifest that to visualize and have these opportunities. Why not? It's for me, it's like if they can do it, I can do it. It just gives me that much more of a drive to and visualize that for myself because I'm looking to have a legacy left behind for my family. That I don't have any kids, so that will be my kid in a sense, like digitally, or for the community to know and to connect. And I love this industry because I've been able to meet peers that I looked up to and not knowing the movies they worked on that I grew up watching. And it's cool to get their perspective on it. There's a mutual friend of ours who's a barber, TJ. He worked on Bring It On. And I told him how much I love that movie. And he told me that he worked on it. And I thought, no effing way. Like that movie to me was pivotal. And he shared his experience. And I'm like, what a small world and how cool it is that I get to share the joy that I saw from what you created and he was new to that world cheerleading and it was just that connection where it was like that movie was like the holy grail for me
Right.
and it's awesome to know that he got to work on that and get his insight on that and I really love this industry because it all started with a dream and a vision and the curiosity of seeing how do I get in, how am I going to make myself be seen, but it's a matter of putting yourself out there and letting people see you and taking it from there for the most part. You just never know who's paying attention.
Definitely. I always, for me, when I started right after I got laid off from my job, and then I went straight into the hair industry with a little shove from my wife because she saw something in me and was like, "Hey, I think this might, be something I feel like you will be fulfilled in. You love to be an artist, and see what happens." Um, and then COVID hit. I was done with my hours. I was about to go take my exam, and then COVID shut down everything.
Oh,
Now
interesting, man.
started to restructure for you guys, and especially after the whole protests and everything that you guys had to go through, you know, the shit AI stuff and all this other stuff that they was putting out there. How is the industry for you? What has it opened for you as far as like what you want to do next? Um, Is it still all about the industry? Do you want to capitalize on other things and build on top of that? Like, what is it now that with after COVID and after all this, it says, okay, now my business cap needs to come on, and this is what I want to, sustain. And in case something else happens, then I know I'm in a good situation that I don't have to worry too much.
For sure.
Because at the end of the day, we have to still worry about something, but
At
what
the end
where
of the day, yes.
where's that mindset for you at this particular moment? If you
For me
mind
right
sharing, you keep it
no,
all
no,
to
no, of course.
yourself.
For me, it's been sharing my experience, sharing my journey, and being on platforms like this with you, and being able to talk about that, and allowing myself to be in front of the camera because I always knew I didn't want to be an actor, and I was very self-conscious. And now it's just like, no, it's all about lighting. It's all about your angles, paying attention while I work, because we all have a role and everyone comes together to deliver a project. So one of my passions is to be sharing more knowledge on products, how I got into the union, things you can do to build your book, things you can do to network. I'm looking to do that with TikTok. Since Instagram for me is very like pictures, video, I'm not really on there. And I feel like on TikTok, I can be on that platform. I also speak Spanish, so that other avenue allows me to tap into that. And I really want to be able to make myself visible in both platforms because I do speak that. I do have that benefit, and there is a big market out there.
I'm mad because my dad is from Belize, so I didn't get the Creole accent, and I definitely get the Spanish link. Now I'm trying to learn everything now. But yeah,
That's
I mean
that's where it starts. No, there's no better time than now. Now
yeah,
you have apps. Now you have tools that can help you. I mean, I learned Spanish because of the environment I was in. My parents spoke it to us. They didn't really teach us how to write it, how to read it. I did that on my own.
yeah,
I would grab the books, I would grab just to grammatically understand it because I think in Spanish. When
yeah.
people talk to me, I'm thinking in Spanish. So I'll read Spanish words like, La Cienega Santa Monica. People are like, why are you saying it like that? And I'm like, what? It's a Spanish word. Like, I'm not gonna anglicize everything. I already anglicized my name. So it's like, give me credit, like a little bit. And it's always funny when people think I'm a girl because Renee's a unisex name. So I'm always just like, if you want her, she can come out, but she needs a budget. Hair, makeup, like what are we delivering here? Because if that's what you're asking for, I can deliver it, just the money. I just need to get compensated for all that. Because it's not easy, but it's fun. But yeah, for sure, for me, that would be a platform to share my wealth of knowledge that I've gained and I've learned by other people that have opened up their doors and bringing me into these projects and learning from them. I feel like I don't want to keep this. So that will be one way of tapping into sharing my knowledge through TikTok. I do like to use essential oils. So there is a scent that I've been, misting around and getting people's feedback. And I've had people hit me up like, where do you buy, where do you sell that? Are you selling it? Like, and that kind of allowed me to really tap into that world. It's like a healing oil. And since I'm in a healing journey, I figured that can be another platform that can, be lucrative, can also be just a conversation starter and just how to be aware. Whenever I go on set, I usually will like cleanse with Palo Santo, sage. I have it in liquid form. Like I have a ritual. I have my little crystals that are set up. Like these are my boundaries. This is what I'm setting up. I used to use a salt lab. It's all about an environment. Like these little tips and tricks that I'm so grateful that I've worked in customer service since I was the age of 15. You become aware on how you create these environments for people. It's just taking a moment to just take these notes and share them and monetize on them because we can. At the end of the day, I am my own boss. So there's endless amounts of opportunities that I can create for myself. It's just, it comes with change. So I have to learn to be adaptable to those changes and take baby steps. My committee would want to create a video that's perfect, but at the end of the day, it's not going to be perfect because I don't really know how to do it. So I'm going to be slowly starting creating videos, putting them on TikTok. I reached out to brands talking about their ingredients. There's an app called Yuka that you scan. It's Yuka. You scan the barcode. It'll break down like what's in the ingredients. So I'm
Oh,
becoming more conscious on how to have a clean kit. Right now, my professional kit per set has clean hair products that really won't mess with your endocrine system. It doesn't have any carcinogens in it. It's very eye-opening to see like what the global companies are doing out there and the impact they're creating on us.
yeah,
And just taking that time to be mindful and be aware. And I ask people when they sit in my chair if they have any allergies to any hair products. No one really
yeah,
asks that. So it's I need to be mindful. And I usually like to ask them, is there any hair products you would not like me to use?
correct,
And I like that conversation because it's not my hair, it's your hair, it's our hair. We're
yeah,
coming together to create a vision.
right,
And their approach usually with me is very like, oh, thank you for considering me. That's very nice of you. And I'm just like, well, why not? I'm here to create with you. I can't do it without you because it'll show on your face. So I
right,
always like to, start fresh, start light,
yeah,
all that stuff. So in that process, I've used this essential oil that people will give me good reactions. So there are some little projects that I'm starting to come out with, especially, as an independent contractor. It's just like I gotta branch out on these markets and seeing all these opportunities. Eventually, I will come out with maybe a hair color line or a collaboration. That's the reason why I wanted to reach out to these brands and like talk about the ingredients and just educate people because brands want to have collaborations. They want to have opportunities. And I figured, why not? There's not a lot of brown guys that I see on there. So I figured, like, why not take that risk and make yourself available to it? Who knows where that'll take me? I mean, I have a vision in mind. I have ideas, so they're endless, and I will foresee that it will all happen how it's supposed to happen.
That's
So
cool.
I'm really excited for this journey. I'm excited
I
that
love
we're
it.
here talking. I'm really grateful that you asked me to be on here with you today.
When you start getting it going, let me know, and then I'll definitely put it on my channel and start telling people where to go and how to find you and stuff like that. So this is what this platform is definitely about. It's about connecting our worlds together and sharing that we all unified no matter what we do in this industry. We all are connected in every way.
100%.
I always like to leave my guests, and if you need me to elaborate a little bit more on the meaning, let me know. But how has law of attraction been used for you or your business? You know, how do you use law of attraction in your everyday life?
Oh, I start off with it with my gratitude list. When I'm doing my asana, I do a little bit of yoga. I have an affirmation playlist that I have on Spotify. Music, for me, is such a healing element. It's also something productive. I like to work with music. Music allows me to remember moments. Like yesterday, I was listening to TLC. It was all TLC. And I was just remembering like moments in my life. Yesterday was a really gratifying day because it really allowed me to revisit avenues of my life that I didn't think I would be tapping into. Like yesterday, I worked at the Four Seasons in Beverly Hills. I call it the Pretty Woman Hotel. So to be in that area, I used to work at Galvin Atelier. Like all those experiences I had then, I got to revisit without really thinking about it and being like, wow, I've lived an incredible life that isn't fit for everyone, but it's my life that I get to manifest. And law of attraction really has been helpful. I've been blessed to have really good people around me that align, that have shared their information with me, that are also in that manifestation mode. And I'm really grateful for that because it is about quality, not quantity.
Yeah.
And it's more so of just my own accountability on taking care of myself and just being mindful of that. Even at nighttime, I will, light up some incense. I'll say my gratitude list just to say thank you. I do wear a lot of crystals. I carry them. I'm holding a pyrite heart. I'm all about that. It aligns with me, and that's a really great experience in being a part of the laws of attractions because it's possible. Your thoughts definitely do plant a seed, your words, all that connects. Renee, 8 years ago, didn't really understand this verbiage, didn't really understand like what was going on, but I walked in open knowing that I was curious, I wanted to learn more, and I'm constantly learning more. So it's a day by day basis that I just remind myself to, step back. I say certain prayers. I implement certain stuff from 12 steps that all aligns with laws of attraction. I like to just, check in with myself to see where I'm at. If I need to take myself out and reconnect with nature, I'll go on a hike. I love my hikes. I love riding the bicycle. That allows me to really stay in that world of abundance, stay in that world of manifestation. It's just an ongoing basis, and I just make myself accountable as best as I can when I can, and be gentle with myself and know that I'm doing the best that I can because I'm not striving for perfection. I may have been told that perfection is what needs to be like the end goal, but that's not realistic, and that's not something I connect with today. I did it before. Now I'm like, no, this is it. We're gonna work with this, and that's the beauty of it. You become adaptable. You can color outside of the box. It's okay to color outside of the box. And I like to color outside of the box.
And
There are moments where I'll go back in the box, but
guys,
for the
this
most part, go
so
big or go
you gotta
home.
get out that line and see what else is possible and what other vision and beauty that you can create. So
Yeah,
I always
100%.
find the line. But man, Renee, this was awesome. I really appreciate you for
Thank you, Gary.
stepping up, talking, share your experience, your journey. I can't wait to work with you again.
Likewise.
Uh, yeah, and yeah, like if you ever have something that you want to share on my channel, just hit me up and say, "Hey, let's do it. Let's talk that shit,"
Will
and we can
do.
make it. All right.
For sure. Thank you again for having me. It's been a pleasure and
Yeah.
an honor.
And keep me aware of all the projects that you're looking on, so I can watch it and do my and give out my support and everything. So I always,
Will do.
I always like when TJ hit me up and like, hey, I'm working on because my favorite show right now is dang, what's the All American.
I was okay. I was, yeah, all American.
She be busted up because I'll sit there from morning all the way to night to try to watch the whole thing. So I'm looking forward to the new season that you working on, so I can watch that too. So yeah, so but it's other projects that I'm really into too. But I know that when he told me he was working on that one, I was like, yeah, that's my show. But yeah, man, let's continue our
I
greatness.
would
Let's
love
continue
to.
moving forward, and I'll chop it up with you soon.
100%. Enjoy the
All
rest
right,
of your day.
all right, man.
Take care. Thank
All right,
you.
no problem.
Bye.
Bye.